The first thing you do is you have access to the internet, so you can go on the American Cancer Society's website and say, what is the survival rate of this type of cancer with this stage 3 tumor and these cancerous lesions, and your lymph nodes are affected. They can tell you right there, it's 56% survival rate. And you go, geez, I don't like those odds. It hits you hard, and your life flashes before you, as they say. And you just try to do your best to pull through. People are counting on you. Your family needs you. My son was in high school. I wanted to see him graduate. It's very hard.
And then we got to the ferry boat and come on over and set up for our racing and unload our cars, and we think we have everything buttoned down really tight and ready to go, and Alex's car wouldn't start the next morning.
It's not good.
I was 15 years old. I was a sophomore in high school. The whole start of it was I just had a sleepover any normal day, any normal weekend after a wrestling tournament. And after my friends had left, he had brought me downstairs and held both my hands and said, Alex, I have cancer. And it's obviously, as a sophomore in high school, it's done scary as hell. My dad's gonna die, what's going on? But he just, and I'm thinking, how am I gonna make it through this? What am I gonna do? And he just goes, I need you to focus on your school, your wrestling, your football, and that's what I need you to take care of. I'll figure out my cancer and figure everything out.
They wanted me to go through radiation treatments and try to shrink the tumor before they would operate to try to remove the tumor, to see how much they could shrink it and get it under control. And the radiation just burned me really bad and took the life right out of me. And it didn't have any effect on the tumor whatsoever. So then we had to decide to go to a pump where they put a medical port in my chest here, and then I would wear a backpack with chemo to pump the chemo through my system constantly. And I'd have to walk around the house or sleep with that on.
There were times that he would just cry, and I would cry alongside him. We would just sit there some nights just holding each other and just to be there for him. I couldn't just let him go through all of that by himself.
Then they wanted me to wean off the chemo and get ready to get healthy for surgery, where they were going to do a lower anterior resection on me, and did all the things that they needed me to do, preparing myself for that, trying to get as healthy as possible, and went through the surgery. I believe it was an 8-hour procedure, and came out of it on the other side. They said it was successful as far as removing the portions of my body that had the cancerous lesions, and removing the lymph nodes and removing the tumor, and that my body would somehow figure out how to work again after all of this was removed. They said, we're going to have you try to heal up for a while, and then we're going to go ahead and resume chemo, but we're not going to go ahead and do radiation because that's no longer needed. And it didn't work anyways.
After almost a whole day of trying to troubleshoot which wires were bad, Gabe was able to rewire most of it and got us 90% of the way there. And then one of the fellow racers here was able to come over and get us that last 10% and get Alex's car running in good shape.
Thank you, baby.
around 2012, he started doing the Put-in-Bay road racing events. And, I would, take the weekend. I always spend time Put-in-Bay, always in the weekends with him all summer. And when he started doing it, I was always there on the sidelines watching him do it, watching him prep the car beforehand, getting the car ready to do this, and then be a part of the events. And then I think I got to an age, I think it was my senior of high school, he had bought me the black race car that I'll be racing at the road races this year. And it was amazing. It was a Christmas gift to me. And so ever since then, every year I've done it with him and just kind of followed his footsteps.
So we went out for this morning for practicing, and I had some valve train issues. Sounds like I have a bad valve tick in my car, so determined that that wasn't worth the risk of blowing up yet another motor for us, which we've done already in the past. Certainly don't want to go through that again. And then Alex went out for his second session and had a DNF in qualifying, which is did not finish designation. Had to be towed back to the pits, where we realized that he didn't have any gears, and that the main pilot bushing and the side shift transmission of that Porsche had let loose.
The chemo would really drag me down to the point where I couldn't work any longer at my job. I was too weak. Could barely get out of bed, could barely move. It was just knocking me down, just something terrible. And they would take me off chemo for a 2-week period to kind of get me healthy again, to give me the next dosage of chemo that would then bring me down again. And then we just kept going through this cycle. And I was kind of calculating the race at Put-in-Bay coming up and how I still wanted to do that and be attendant, at least attend it or get there. And my oncologist said, absolutely, we can do that. I know that's important to you. We have to live our lives, and we have to do our events, and we have to be with our family, and we have to do these things. And so let's go ahead and take you off now, give you your 2 weeks that you need to get healthy, do the event, and then when you return, we'll go back on the schedule.